As CivilNet continues to look at this Cow's Garden deal going on in Jerusalem, which has even now hit the international press to a greater degree, I'm joined today by major philanthropist Jack Youredjian. So, Mr. Jack Youredjian, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
I want to also say thank you for all your support to CivilNet, even me and Avedis going to Jerusalem. I feel it couldn't have been made a reality without your support, so I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys going there. I followed your reports. You guys did an amazing job, you know, interviewing many people, sending pictures of the whole area that's involved in this disaster. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
You had a great impact, more than you think, you know, on the community.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Youredjian, this story is close to your heart. It's very personal for you. 25% of the Armenian Quarter in Jerusalem's Old City has been leased off for 99 years. As George Hintlian, a historian in Jerusalem, said, 5 generations. You are from Jerusalem, but there is even more to this, why it is so personal to you. Can you explain why this has really, got your attention?
Jerusalem Armenian community is a very special community. It's a very dense community that we had contacts with each other, even if you're living inside the convent or outside the convent. For every one of us, for most of us, I would say, including myself, Jerusalem is in my heart. It's in my blood. It flows through my blood, you know. We have a different affinity to Jerusalem than any other Armenian community anywhere else, you know. You don't know the value of where you were born, where you lived, until you live that area and you think back and you say, wow, I was born and I lived in a very special, holy place. It's not just like any place, you know. That land is holy for the Armenian community. It belongs to the Armenian community and Armenians everywhere. It also is a holy land for Palestinians, Arabs, you know. This is a big disaster for us and for them as well, you know. And the fear is that if this land ever gets lost, and this contract is not nullified, it's going to impact the other Christian communities in Jerusalem as well. The Catholic Church, the Greek Church, you know, they're also on the standby saying what's going to happen to them, you know. This is much bigger than what we think it is. And the sad part is that Patriarch is not sharing with us a copy of that contract to see, is it only what we're hearing or there's more to it than, you know, what we're hearing, you know, because there's all this noise that there are other things involved with some of the strategic locations in the bank being in this deal as well, which would be a really total disaster.
And I mean, you mentioned the Patriarch. The Armenian Patriarch of Jerusalem, Nurhan Manukyan, spoke to a friend of CivilNet, Avedis Krikorian, who traveled with me to Jerusalem. He said that the deal will be reversed and that this will be done in due time. I just want to say, though, that there were previous deals in the past as well, which we heard similar stories that it will be reversed. What do you think about what he told Avedis Krikorian?
I think he's feeling the pressure from outside recently. And he's told the same story to everybody that goes to visit him. He's trying to pacify the atmosphere. He's trying to calm down the atmosphere. But until I see him carry on what he's promising, I would not believe him, you know, because he's telling everybody, I'm working to nullify it, you know, and then everybody will be happy and comfortable. I have to see that, you know, if you're not showing the contract itself, how can I trust him that he's going to nullify this contract that he doesn't want to share with anybody? Anybody. even the people, the priests that are surrounding him, they're protecting him also, you know. They're also, you've seen them, you know, how they build a circle around him that, you know, protecting him, and they're blocking every aspect of beating him. If he does it, it will be amazing. I'll forget everything he has done, but until I see it, I'm in a very restless state right now, you know.
And you mentioned the importance for the Christian groups in Jerusalem, but it is also this area of the Armenian Quarter very important and strategic for the Arab side, for the Palestinians and the Jordanians. If this deal goes through, what does that mean for Armenia-Arab relations?
Okay. I'm going to go back, okay. All the Arab countries, after the genocide, when Armenians came to the Middle East, they accepted us with open arms. They didn't pressure us. They left us alone. We opened our own businesses. We opened our schools. We opened our churches, you know. They left us to deal with everything we want to without any interference, you know. They really loved us. They really took care of us. And, you know, we can't just all of a sudden stab them in the back, because this land, if you see the Armenian Quarter, the old city is divided into 4 quarters. And the Armenian community quarter is almost the bigger of these 4 quarters. If this goes, the others will go also, you know, which will be a shame, you know. So it is impacting all the Arab countries right now where Armenians live. I'm getting texts that when I read them, I get goosebumps. There was one from a friend of mine who sent me this one-line message when I put a picture of Avo with the patriarch. He says, "Jack, please pray for all of us." He's not saying pray for Armenians, he's saying pray for all of us, you know. That has really deep meaning if you look into it, that, you know, how much this is impacting them. This is Holy Land for us, this is Holy Land for them, you know. And I hope by your visit, putting more pressure, by the lawyers that went from Chicago, they come to a resolution that this deal gets nullified somehow.
And what was very interesting to me when we were in Jerusalem was seeing the youth activists there, Hagop Jernazian, Setrak Balian, so full of, you know, fire and passion to stop this. But, you know, Armenian communities around the world, maybe they aren't fully aware of what's happening, maybe they don't understand what's happening. I mean, what would your message be to, let's say, an Armenian in Los Angeles or an Armenian in another country?
I organized a meeting in Los Angeles, invited Jerusalem Armenians and non-Armenians. But now, I'm sure you're aware of it, there have been articles in BBC, there have been articles in other newspapers, you know. I think more and more people are hearing about this, but you, as the members of the press, you have to stress to let people understand this is just not a land deal. This is more than a land deal. There's more at stake than a land deal. You have to specify that this land, how important it is for Armenian community, for Armenians everywhere, especially the Armenians living in Arab countries, you know, because till now, they were our friends, they were our partners. I don't want them to look for us as traitors, you know, as the merchants of evil to sell land to the Jewish state or lease land to the Jewish state, which is so dear to them, which is so, and for us also.
Yeah, because I mean, under international law, the Armenian Quarter is on the Palestinian side of the 1949 line. I also want to say that there's also a lot of stake for you know, world heritage, cultural heritage. This year, there are reports that the deal doesn't just encompass the Cow's Garden, people's properties, parts of the seminary complex, the Patriarchate Garden, the printing house.
I my house, where I grew up, was at the edge of this house garden. There's few houses there. Those are all going to be torn away. There's going to be businesses that are going to turn away. And even though I lived there, I did not know how extensive that land is, how far does it extend until the police station, which is a big parcel of land. It's not like, 5-6 acres. This is a huge piece of land. It's basically, and this land is, as you saw it, it's only like 20 feet away from the walls of the convent. I mean, it's like almost part of the convent. If you look at the Patriarchate garden, that's also in the deal. He has an entrance to go to his Patriarchate through that back door that he has over there. So that's going to be gone also. But I feel that Armenians everywhere are hearing about this, but I don't want them to deal with it as this is a real estate deal, this is a real estate problem. It's not. I want to explain to them that it's more than that, There's more at stake than just this plain real estate deal. I want to show them and tell them how it impacts all Armenian communities in the Middle East, everywhere. I'm sure it's going to impact, in Artsakh also with Azerbaijan. I think Muslims all along, they're going to be really livid if this deal goes through. Really livid.
And you're going to keep fighting.
And yes, I will. And you're aware of that. When Ehud Barak met with Arafat and Clinton at Camp David, and Ehud Barak brought these lands into the subject, into the meeting. That's when Arafat got up and moved, and he said, it will never happen. He canceled the meeting. I mean, to have a meeting at Camp David, you know how important it is for all countries, especially with the President of the United States. He canceled the meeting, he got up, because the talk turned into those lands to be under conservatorship of the Israeli government. And he says, no way, and he just got up. And now, we just gave it away for nothing. For nothing.
And to think at Camp David, they were discussing the Armenian Quarter. So, Mr. Jack Youredjian, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.